Hey everybody, welcome back here to another episode of In the Zone. This is episode 217. That's Chris Martelli over there. I'm Giancarlo Aulino, and Chris, got to start off with one of the big wrestling pay-per-views taking place this weekend because Saturday afternoon, WWE Night of Champions in Saudi Arabia, 1 p.m. start time. We got a good one kicking here. I think they're going to start off with the Intercontinental title with Mustafa Ali challenging Gunther. Could we see an upset here? Because I saw Brock Lesnar. He said, "Get a life, kid," and they're having a lot of interactions with Ali backstage. Could they be prepping for something here?
Um, Maybe a triple threat match down the line because I know everybody and their mom wants to see Gunther versus Brock Lesnar. I like the whole character change with Ali. I've been saying for years, it's funny because you go back to 2019. Apparently, Ali was supposed to get that push that Kofi got, but Kofi replaces him in the chamber. The rest is history. And then, of course, this guy in 2021 during COVID wanted to get released. He had a lot of ups and downs in his career, and he was basically a laughing stock for most of last year. But now all of a sudden, I guess Triple H is finally like, yeah, we got a guy here in Mustafa Ali that can put on a phenomenal match whenever. And I think, make no mistake about it, Aulino, I think this match could definitely be a match of the night. Gunther has had a banner year since he's held the Intercontinental title. Him and Roman Reigns have just been the MVPs, I think, of WWE, if you really think about it. But I'm going to go with Gunther retaining here. I don't see his reign ending just yet, but I do think Ali is going to be the MVP, arguably coming out of this pay-per-view looking the strongest, and probably he's going to have the highest upward trend moving into the summer.
Yeah, I think if there's going to be a time though when Gunther could lose a title, Ali winning it in Saudi Arabia, I think it would make sense in a way because they kind of pushed him a little bit. I think they want Gunther to be in the main event scene. He's done a really good job as an Intercontinental champ, so I wouldn't be opposed to it if they have plans for Ali. I saw like even 2018, like 2019, when he was cutting those promos on his own, really, like just recording himself, and they would put it on SmackDown, talking about when he was a cop and all that stuff. Like it showed that he has range there with his promos, and if they give him the IC title and let him run with it, maybe you can have something there. But in terms of like potential challengers, let's say Ali loses here, who do you think should be the next one in line for Gunther on Raw?
I mean, I still think you look at a lot of opportunities here. I wouldn't be opposed to a guy. I mean, I'm trying to think again of who is on this draft. I think a guy like Gargano getting an opportunity, I think wouldn't hurt. I think you have opportunities like, I don't know, maybe a returning Ziggler, maybe the Miz. There's a lot of difference here, and you know what? I do think Gunther. I think you made a good point with Ali. I think if he wins the title, it wouldn't hurt Gunther. Obviously, Gunther's only going to elevate from here. He's going to be a main event star, all about that. But I don't know, man. I think a lot of people would still be a little upset if Sheamus weren't the guy to dethrone Gunther, and now it's definitely not looking like that, as Sheamus is basically looking like he has his eyes on Theory on SmackDown. I'm not too sure, Aulino. I don't know who can really be a good opponent for Gunther, but I think at this point in time, it's a win-win for both guys regardless. And I think if you're a WWE hardcore fan, I think this match is definitely going to make you happy. I think this match is going to be really good, but we'll see with Gunther's reign, Aulino. I think if you really want Brock to win it, I think that's a good shout, but there's not a lot of guys. I agree with you. There's not a lot of elite challengers right now for Gunther.
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be interesting. They've done a good job, at least with this title. Like for years, like the title was on the pre-show. Sometimes it wouldn't even be defended, and then the Miz's reign, and after the Miz had the title, it was like back in limbo. It seems so. It's good that they got plans for that. But the next matchup here, this one makes all the sense in the world. Clearly, Rhea Ripley taking on the Canadian Natalia. Natalia's not winning the match. Like, let's be real. But how long do you think this goes?
If they're smart, with this, I think you make it like no more than 2 minutes if you're smart with it. But knowing WWE and the amount of loyalty they have to Natalia, I think this could easily be a competitive match. But I think if you really want to solidify Rhea Ripley as that number one pick that went in the draft, like you have to make this a squash match. This is not the feel good story of Zelina Vega going back to her home country. This is just a random one on one match. I think you really have to. I mean, Natalia's been in WWE for what, like 14 years now. I think at this point in time, the one on top, Rhea Ripley, just dethrones the veteran. This has to be a quick one.
I agree. I know like Natalia, but I don't think she would lose a lot of steam if this is a squash match. So
No.
like, regardless of what they do, I think they have to make sure that Rhea is looking dominant in this match because Judgment Day looks like they're finally gaining some more momentum, especially with what Priest did at Backlash against Bad Bunny. So that could be something that they can continue to build on. But here's a match that could be a little bit interesting. Asuka looks like they're leaning more as a heel here against Bianca Belair. Do you think Asuka is there a surprise here with the women's title maybe changing hands?
I'll say no still, man. And I hate to say that because Oscar gets so many chances and she always falls flat. But I heard rumors that Bianca Belair is turning heel sometime soon. I think that's definitely in the cards, even for maybe you could have the Street Profits turn heel, which I think they should have after WrestleMania against Zayn and Owens. But they're still going with the bloodline angle, which is fine. But if Bianca Belair does lose here, I think the heel turn would basically be like immediately, maybe like a week, 2 weeks at the most. But they do have Charlotte Flair as one of the top faces on SmackDown, I heard right now, which is baffling to me. I don't think she should be a face whatsoever. But Bianca Belair's run has been incredible. She's the longest reigning women's champion, I think, of the modern era. Her run's been well over a year now. I think it's time for her to maybe have a character reset, turn heel, and see what she can do on the other side. So I got Bianca Belair retaining this one, Aulino, unfortunately. But if she were to lose, I do think it plants the seeds for a heel turn for her for herself.
Yeah, I agree. I see something similar happening, and like with Asuka, it seems like they're trying to lean into it more of her being a heel, but like, do you think it's, doing more harm than good here because she's still getting cheered? They showed that maybe Bianca might turn heel, towards the end of the year, like, think it will, ruin Asuka here if Bianca Belair turns heel?
It's one of those situations where I say it all the time. It's like the CM Punk effect, where even when he was heel in 2012, he got cheered. Daniel Bryan as well, 2018. His heel work was so phenomenal. Didn't matter. He got cheered. I think in this point in time, it's the same thing with Asuka. Like she's so good that it doesn't matter what she is. If she's a face, a heel, they're gonna cheer her regardless. And Alino, bringing up my point of her coming close and really losing all the time is gonna make them not boo her even more. So if she were to win the title here, I don't think she would get any boos whatsoever. I think if anything, Bianca might get more boos retaining than Asuka winning the title. So yeah, I do think if they really full on turn Asuka heel, it might stall her a bit. But Alino, she's so good that I don't think it really would do her any harm.
I'll have to wait and see on that. I think that's, one of the matches there where if there is a title change, might have to circle on that one, but here's, the match that has no title. Becky Lynch and Trish Stratus. Becky went there on Raw. She
Oh,
mentioned that
savage.
famous segment with Vince McMahon with a bark like a dog. Trish has really embraced this heel role, as we've seen in her promos. Just she pulled the HBK thing on her when she's like, "Oh, Becky's coming," and then the music hits and she's not there. So do you think there's gonna be, Trish winning in heel fashion and leading to a rematch at, maybe SummerSlam?
Yeah, I heard this is probably going to be a best of three, which I'm fine with. I think you have one here, then you have one at Money in the Bank, and then probably SummerSlam conclude it. So yeah, I gotta probably go with Trish Stratus winning here and some sort of holding the tights, roll up, maybe foot on the rope, something like that, where she cheats. I love this feud, honestly, man. The promo that we saw from Becky on Raw, I don't think I've seen her cut a promo that well in like 4 years. So I think she's back to her the man type character. And if she's back to that character, Aulino, I think in no time she could easily be contending again against Rhea Ripley for the top title. And I think that would only benefit both. Rhea Ripley, you could kind of tell with her feuding with Natalia, not the greatest amount of contenders for her right now. So I think right after this feud, whoever's going to win the feud, probably Becky, is probably going to be in the title chase with Rhea Ripley. But I do agree with you. I think Trish Stratus has really she's done this role tremendously, coming out saying, I'm still number one. I've always been number one, very cocky. Yeah, it's kind of old and vanilla, but at the end of the day, we haven't seen Trish Stratus be heel in like 20 years. So this is definitely refreshing for me. I got to go with Trish Stratus winning this one in heel fashion. You love to see it.
Yeah, we gotta see that there. I do see that too. I think we're gonna see something where she's gonna catch Becky off guard. It's gonna look like she wins and Trish just capitalizes there. But like, do you see this going like I think by SummerSlam she'll probably wrestle the next couple months. Like, do you see anybody else like wrestle her in the meantime? Like, do you think we'll see a Raw match out of her, or do you think she'll just do Money in the Bank and SummerSlam with Becky?
I mean, I think it depends on how confident she is in the ring. I know a lot of people are kind of downgrading this feud just because of the ring rust that she has. And I mean, I remember the last match we were there, Aulino, SummerSlam against Charlotte Flair. That was phenomenal. That match to me was one of the best of the night. I think if Trish really wants to put the time and effort in the ring, which we all know she will, she's one of the greatest women's performers of all time. I think she could do it on Raw, but I think at this stage in her career, I think it might just be better if she just does it at the pay-per-views. Leave the Raws for just being on the mic and talking that smack. So I'll say for now, Aulino, no to matches on Raw unless it really does create another program with another superstar down the line, maybe like a Lacey Evans or a Bailey. I'm pretty sure Trish Stratus wants to go through the four horsewomen. So Sasha Banks now, Mercedes is not there anymore, at least for now. So I guess if it's not Becky, maybe down the line you maybe have a face Bailey. I don't know.
Would be interesting. As long as it's not Ronda, like God forbid.
No, no.
Fuck, we don't need any more injuries over there. Next match here, the one a lot of people are excited for, World Heavyweight Championship, vacant title. One of these guys are gonna win that. It's Seth Rollins and AJ Styles. I don't know. I'm a little torn here. I think it could be 50-50. I know they've been really promoting Seth and the whole build-up and everything, but with all that talk of him being a part of a movie, Captain America and all that, like, do you think this means AJ could win the title?
It very well does. And I think he is, honestly, man. I think AJ, you look back at what he did 2020, 2021 didn't do that much. But you look at I think this is where WWE understands that he's kind of in his twilight years. I think he has maybe 2-3 years left at some main event level. I think AJ Styles is the guy that can hold this title. A lot of people, I hate to say it all, they're calling this title an emergency and a backup, like a consolation prize, basically, because Roman doesn't defend it all the time. I think if I'm AJ Styles and Seth Rollins, that should motivate the hell out of me to have a match of the year candidate here for this belt. I mean, if you look back at Finn Balor and Seth Rollins, I think if Balor didn't get hurt mid-match, that would have been one of the better matches, at least of that pay-per-view for sure. So I think Rollins understands. He's been a part of these vacated title matches before. I think this one's going to be an absolute banger, Aulino, but I do now, with the rumors with him being in the new Captain America, I think this solidifies that we're probably going to see AJ Styles win the World Heavyweight title. And get this, Aulino, I think Edge is going to win his third straight Money in the Bank and go off and dethrone AJ Styles.
I love it. I love it. I think it would be interesting. Like, I know AJ, the whole OC thing, like, it probably hasn't have had that same effect like when they came back, but if you put the title on AJ, it makes everything a little bit more interesting because You got Imperium there, the Bloodline on SmackDown. Could go different directions. I know AJ's a SmackDown guy, but maybe if he wins the title, that means he has to go to Raw. So I think there could be some feuds with him. Maybe Shinsuke again. They want to revisit that, and Shinsuke can go after him. I think the Judgment Day and the OC, that's probably one that would make sense if AJ's on Raw with Balor and him. So I'll have to see how that all plays out there. But the match here, Roman Reigns wants all gold. This time it's a tag team titles. He's teaming with Solo Sikoa to take on Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Is Roman leaving Saudi Arabia with 4 titles around his arms?
You know what, man? Like, I gotta give WWE credit for really trying to have the fans just absolutely hate Roman Reigns. But he's just so over, and his matches are so consistently awesome. You can't really hate Roman Reigns. I mean, he's not winning he's not winning the tag titles here. I just think a lot of fans are upset that he's not defending it for another 2 months. I hear rumors he's not defending it at Money in the Bank either. So he's going to be well over 1,000 days. I think SummerSlam for sure he's losing the title. Let's be real here. Roman Reigns, I think, is in a maybe by January of 2024. I expect him to be part time, probably going now nearing Hollywood, maybe after WrestleMania next year. I do think SummerSlam is the perfect time for him to drop the belt to who? I have no idea. Is it Cody Rhodes? Is it a Jey Uso? I have no idea, but I think they're definitely planting the seeds here. I would love to see Solo Sikoa turn face and be the guy to really go up against Roman Reigns, because I think there's just so much to offer, and there's still like the wild card factor with Solo. We all know he's really good. He was undefeated till he lost on Raw, but I think regardless, Aulino, the Bloodline feud and the Bloodline drama just trumps everything, and we're seeing it here again. I think Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn retain in a very, very good match, but the whole point of this match is to see what happens with the Usos and the Bloodline. So, regardless, it's going to be fantastic. I am not worried. I'm not upset that it's kind of predictable, but I do think we're probably going to see either Jay or Solo turn on Roman, and I have no idea who it is.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is the good thing is it's at least making fans invested in the tag team titles, which for a long time no one really cared about it. So WWE's putting more effort into it, and having Roman here is just gonna get fans' interest because there is that thought that maybe he does win the title for 1 week or so, and then they drop it. But I do see Jey Uso, main event Jay, being the one that costs him. I think there's a super kick right to Roman at the end of the match, and I think Sami Zayn pins Roman, and that's what's going to start this whole Usos versus Solo and Roman feud going into SummerSlam. So I think that's retained title, but I don't know the Usos and Roman. Like, do you think they should do a one-on-one, or is a tag team probably the better option if you involve Solo and Jimmy?
I'll tell you right now, if he's doing a tag team match at SummerSlam, people are going to lose their minds. Like, they're not going to be happy. I think he has to be in a title match at SummerSlam for sure. Probably going to be Jey Uso versus Roman Reigns. I think that would be the play I would go with. But if this just means that Roman's going to be feuding with the Usos at SummerSlam, I mean at Money in the Bank, then you could do the tag team match there. But I think they should be going full circle here with Roman Reigns taking on a contender at SummerSlam, as it is a big 4 pay-per-view. And if you have him go, Aulino, without defending the title for 3 straight pay-per-views, you're just backing yourself in a corner. So I got to go here with, I think this is just going to be maybe a 1 month thing with the tag team, but I do think down the line, if there is one guy to face Roman at SummerSlam, if this is quick, I'd probably go Solo, but Jey Uso versus Roman, that's a full circle moment right there.
And if they do a tag match, like if Roman, let's say, doesn't defend the title at SummerSlam and they don't do Roman versus Jay, they do the tag team match. You think that their way of maybe spinning it so fans aren't upset about it is that's bringing The Rock back because they're going to be at a big stadium for SummerSlam?
I mean, I don't know. Like, obviously, a lot of fans will be happy to see The Rock, but when will that feud kick off? Would it be WrestleMania? Is he holding this belt till WrestleMania? Like, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised at this point. It's already been 3 straight Manias. He's had the Universal title, but I think it's just too long now, man. There's guys that are kind of floundering because of Roman Reigns holding this belt. Seth Rollins said it perfectly. Like, there's a lot of guys that are just kind of stuck in limbo, and like WWE doesn't really know what to do with them. Like, for example, look at Drew McIntyre, look at Sheamus. These guys were basically probably top faces like 2 months ago, and there were hints that maybe they would beat Gunther for the title, or Sheamus would be even in. I remember at the Royal Rumble, we were kind of saying, oh, maybe Sheamus could win the Royal Rumble if not Cody or Sami Zayn at the time. So there's a lot of these type of superstars, Aulino, where because of Roman's long reign, they've just kind of gotten lost. So I think it would be obviously awesome to see The Rock come back and take on Roman Reigns, but I don't think fans want to see him hold the belt till next April.
I'm with you there. Uh, do you think we'll see any returns at this Saudi Arabia show, or do you think they'll just keep it with whatever's on the card right now?
I would love to see Randy Orton come back, but we all know that's definitely not happening. Maybe he can cost Gunther, or I don't know, like you could do something very interesting. Maybe you could have The Fiend come out during the World Heavyweight title match, just to kind of twist things around here. We haven't seen Bray in a while. Um, I just think if there is one match that's going to be interfered, I think it is the World Heavyweight title match. But I do think with Cody Rhodes and Brock Lesnar still being on this card, I wouldn't be surprised if Brock Lesnar does interfere in another match during the night, as I do think he has been around a little too much on Raw. We saw him talking with Ali. I think he's got a bone to pick too. Remember he was looking at that World Heavyweight title too. So we'll wait and see what happens. He has history with Rollins and AJ. We'll see what happens with Brock, because knowing WWE, I would not be surprised if Brock Lesnar makes his way out during that match.
Oh man, yeah, him telling Ali get a life, kid, just interrupts this segment, proceeds to just walk around, take the time to give him advice, and then beat the shit out of Cody Rhodes like previously scheduled programming. But we got that match there, Cody Brock. Does Cody win here? Do you think they're going to extend it by having Brock just continue beating him down and just sending him home and probably in an ambulance, probably stretcher him off in the match and play it up for the next couple of weeks?
I think Cody Rhodes gets absolutely obliterated here, and I think this is where they might be putting themselves in a corner with Cody if they haven't already. Now, Alino, hear me out here. I think if you're smart, you book Brock Lesnar to beat the crap out of Cody to the point where he's off TV for probably a month. You could have him come back maybe a week before Money in the Bank or at SummerSlam, finish your feud with Brock Lesnar. But then there will be fans out there that say, well, when the hell's Cody Rhodes going to beat Roman Reigns for the title? And that's what I have to say to them. You might have to wait a little longer for that, because I don't know if Cody is in a position right now to beat Roman Reigns. So you know what? At first, when Brock attacked Cody Rhodes, I thought this was probably a wrong move, but I think it's absolutely gotten Cody over as a mega babyface. And I think Brock Lesnar, we said it before, I don't see him being a heel for much longer. Maybe by September, I expect him to be a face again, that badass type of guy. He's not even really a heel right now. People still like him. They cheer him. They like how he's got that psychotic look in his eye. Still got the cowboy character, which is good. But no, man, there's no way Cody Rhodes is winning here. I think Brock Lesnar absolutely obliterates him. And then we might see, I have to say it, the only way I'll see Cody Rhodes taking and beating Roman Reigns is if he wins Money in the Bank. And he already won the Rumble this year. Please don't do the Del Rio effect where he wins everything in the freaking first year back. So I don't see Cody Rhodes winning Money in the Bank, and I don't see him beating Brock Lesnar. Sorry, Cody fans.
Yeah, I see that too. I see this being 3 matches. I thought Backlash was fine. I don't think they had to do a rematch. Brock did all the selling there. He even cut himself open the hard way by just driving his head into the post like a maniac, and he got Cody over there. So I don't even think they need to have another match. I think everything was fine with Backlash, but looks like they're going to continue it to make Brock look strong with another win. But after this event, there comes AEW the following day on Sunday. I'm going to pull up this card. We got a match here to kick this off. It's Christian and Wardlow, TNT Championship. And it's a ladder match, so Christian's got the advantage. Do you see him winning the title here?
I do. I see Christian Cage finally winning the TNT title here. I think this is where, I mean, Wardlow having it's a good shout, but I think Christian Cage, buddy, the heel work he was doing with like being injured, he was incredible on the mic. Like the fact that he was in that beautiful program with Jungle Boy, he put Jungle Boy over. Look at Jungle Boy now in the main event. I think this is only a reward for Christian Cage. It's the least that they can do here after everything he's done for Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. I'm going to go with Christian Cage winning this. Maybe not handily. I think this could be a really good match, but Arn Anderson's an old man. Luchasaurus looking like Kane out there. Luchasaurus is going to help Christian Cage, his mentor, his manager, win the TNT title.
I love it. Christian Cage adding more gold. There's some rumors though that with AEW's new show Collision coming up, the logo looks a lot like Nitro. The graphics look like Nitro. They already have Sting, former WCW legend there. Goldberg's a free agent, and Wardlow's been connected to him a lot. A lot of comparisons made. Does Goldberg come out and like spear him through a table or something to set up that little match for All in July?
You know what? You know me with Goldberg. Not the biggest fan here, but I would pay to see Christian Cage's reaction to Goldberg spearing Wardlow. Like, can you just picture Christian Cage halfway up the ladder and he just turns around and he does like that 5-second pose face where it's just like, oh, I can't believe it. Oh my God, I'm actually gonna win here. And he wins. And by the way, Aulino, fun fact, the last ladder match that he had a singles match for a title, yeah, you already know what happened. He beat Del Rio. So I think, his track record is phenomenal in ladder matches. We all know as kids, going back to WrestleMania 2000, Christian Cage is the guy in ladder matches. Make no mistake about it. Whether Goldberg interferes or not, I see Christian Captain Charisma winning the TNT title.
I'm with you. I agree there. And speaking of titles, Orange Cassidy is putting his title on the line here in a Blackjack Battle Royal, the AEW International title. This title's changed names more times than the guys that hold it. So who do you think is winning this? Like, I don't even know who the participants are in, but do you think this is where Orange Cassidy drops the title? Because he's held this since I think October at this point.
Yeah, I think Orange Cassidy's been one of the more, I think, underappreciated wrestlers the last the last year for sure. I think, we just saw Miro return. I think he would be an appropriate guy to win it here. He is an international star. At least he was with Rusev Day. Obviously, he's not at the same level now, but I think Miro coming back after a long absence, winning the international championship, I think that would be a good start to a good run for him. So if I had to make a prediction here, I'm probably going to go. I mean, I don't even know if he's in it, but I think a good shout for me personally would be Miro, as he is well deserving of holding a belt in AEW.
Yeah, he's been there so long and hardly ever been on TV. It's like they bring him back and then one match and he's gone for another like 6 months. So be nice to see Miro or another one if he's in the match. I don't even know if he's in it, but Andrade would be a nice one. He's going to be on that Collision show too. So I think one of those two would be nice selections. Like Orange Cassidy, maybe you can go for that 6-man trios title and go after that with the best friends down the road. But Another match here that we gotta go on. We'll keep that one for later on. We got the women's title match. It's Tony Storm and Jamie Hayter. What do you got winning this match?
This one to me is a coin flip. I love the way they've been building this. I think Jamie Hayter is just she's been phenomenal. I think Tony Storm really has hit her stride the last couple months. I'll say last 4 months she's been phenomenal. I'm still gonna stick with Jamie Hayter retaining here. But again, I think it is 50-50. This is going to be very, very. This one is one of the more unpredictable matches I think on the card. I'm going to go with Hayter retaining for now, but Aulino, I wouldn't be surprised come the next pay-per-view, we see Tony Storm potentially win the title. So for now, I'll say Hayter retains, but when it comes down to the big pay-per-view down the line, they're probably going to give it to Tony Storm.
Yeah, I agree there. Should be a good one, though. Now back to the other women's match. We have the TBS Championship, the Canadian, Taya Valkyrie challenging Jade Cargill. Do they have to end the streak? Like, are we gonna be approaching, like, the Goldberg numbers and this thing's still gonna be intact here?
Yeah, Aulino, am I cutting out at all? I want to make sure.
Oh, yeah, a little bit, buddy.
A little bit? Okay. I think it's just the connection here with my laptop, but I'm going to go with Cargill here. I think she's she's Goldberg. That's all I really got to say. She's had that run for so long. I thought, you saw there were a couple girls there that I really thought were going to dethrone her, and they never did. And Taya Valkyrie, it's a good name. I think she could be one that can, but I don't think she will. I think Cargill's onto this for a little bit longer, and they're getting to the point, Aulino, where they don't really have a lot of girls out there that can beat her. So they're putting themselves in a corner, but Tony Khan will figure it out. But for now, Cargill, she retains the champion.
Yeah, God bless those creative meetings, because this streak, it only looks like there's going to be a disaster when it eventually ends. So if I were them, I would just end it at this pay-per-view, avoid all the problems later on, because like something stupid. If this gets to like 125-0, they're going to end in like some fashion that's just going to piss people off. So
Yeah,
Tony Khan could just avoid it.
she's gonna get tased.
Yeah, probably. Just someone
Yeah.
will come out. Yeah, tase, it's over. So Tony Khan needs to avoid this shit. Just end it. Start off from 60-1 or 70, whatever she's at right now, and just start another like 20 match win streak. But this match here, I can't believe what they just added here. But they have Chris Jericho taking on Adam Cole in an unsanctioned match, and of all the people to be a special enforcer, they bring out Sabu. I don't know his connection to both guys, but he's a special enforcer. How do you see this match playing out?
This is the most random trio I've seen in a match in a long time. This is like when you have WWE 2K14 and you just make random ass matches up. Like, I applaud Tony Khan for bringing Sabu back, but you do not make him a special guest ref against Adam Cole and Jericho. Like, I mean, I think Adam Cole has to win this match, but I would not be surprised if Jericho does. I'm going to just go with Adam Cole winning this here. I'm not really sure. Like, are they going to turn Sabu heel and align with Jericho because they're both legends and he has respect for, like, I don't know what the hell's going on here, but I'm just going to go with the safe option because he just came back from injury. I'm going to go with Adam Cole winning this one, but Aulino, I'm going to say this right now before we talk about the main event. Like Adam Cole specifically should be in the main event instead of doing this.
I agree. And yeah, this whole unsanctioned thing, Jericho, Adam Cole, I don't think this feud's done. But
So
the
Jericho's winning.
unsanctioned, yeah, it's unsanctioned, so technically it doesn't count. Sabu as an enforcer, which means the Jericho Appreciation Society will probably come out since it's not really a match. There's no like real winner. Roderick Strong will come out, so that's 3 on like 5. Do you think RVD is gonna come save the day because Sabu's involved here?
Bring back RVD and Tommy Dreamer.
And Bubba Dudley with a table.
I mean, RVD would get a huge pop. That would be massive if he came out, but I mean, that's like dream case scenario. I'd love to see Sabu go through a table. Maybe Hager puts him through a table or something. I don't know, but I mean, this match is the definition of it's going to be a clusterfuck, and I'm actually very excited to see what Roderick Strong does here because I've always been a big fan of him and seeing basically, the Undisputed Era back together again. It's only going to mean entertaining stuff. And we already know what's going to happen down the line, Aulino. We're going to get the Undisputed Era versus the Elite at some point. I don't know when, but that's going to be must see. But for now, yeah, if it's unsanctioned, no rules, yeah, give it to Jericho. Why not?
Speaking of matches that have really came out of nowhere, we have looks like Team TNA Wrestling here. Jay Lethal, Jeff Jarrett, got Sanjay Dutt on the outside, and they're taking on FTR for the titles. Mark Briscoe is a special guest referee. Is Briscoe going to turn on FTR here and align with Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett?
I mean, yeah, like you look back at what Mark Briscoe meant to them and Jay Lethal, man, ROH legend, TNA legend. I think, yeah, it makes sense for Briscoe to turn on FTR. I think it would make sense here. The only thing that I'm kind of concerned about, and you could probably agree with me, is Jeff Jarrett is old as shit. And if you want to put the title on him, it's a little risky, but I think the story alone here with Mark Briscoe being involved in it, it doesn't necessarily make it predictable, but I wouldn't be surprised if we do see a classic ref turn heel in the process and align with Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett. I mean, Jeff Jarrett, don't get me wrong, he's in phenomenal shape. But I do think FTR, like they're one of the best tag teams in the world. I think them losing here they'd only lose by fishy fashion. They wouldn't lose clean, obviously. But do you really take Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal seriously as tag team champions? That's my only concern here.
Yeah, I think we'll probably see them in the Hardys eventually. Matt Hardy, Jeff Hardy, maybe the brother Nero and Broken Matt thing will come out because all of that just screams like another cinematic match, like what we saw with Ethan Page. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's the outcome. FTR drops the titles and they go and feud with the Elite. But we talked about Jericho and Adam Cole's match being off the rails. This match that I'm going to ask you about next year, clusterfuck galore. Anarchy in the Arena. We have the Elite and the Blackpool Combat Club. So there's going to definitely be a John Moxley spot where he blades. Kenny Omega is going to probably get a broom with barbed wire stuck to his back. The Elite are going to throw like 50,000 super kicks. Who do you think wins this feud here?
I think it has to be Blackpool Combat Club here that wins this match. I don't know how, but I think Daniel Bryan has to get the pin. I think it makes sense Bryan Danielson. I'm just used to saying Daniel Bryan. Basically, Team WWE featuring Wheeler Yuta versus the Elite here. So Claudio, I think, has to do more on the mic. I mean, they're good. They're getting into the same routine with him in WWE. Like, it doesn't matter who you're with and what programs you're in. If you're not going to talk, you're basically, there's a certain ceiling and you can't really get past it. Moxley and Bryan have done a phenomenal job on the mic. Moxley has always been phenomenal on the mic. That you give him a little more time and he'll knock it out of the park. The only thing that pisses me off about this is Hangman Page coming back here and realigning with the Elite. I mean, I'm kind of tired of seeing Hangman Page just flop around everywhere. Like, you're either in it by yourself or you're not. And, aligning with Kenny Omega, to me, after the feud they had, it just kind of doesn't make any sense. And I think Blackpool Combat Club, they're not the Shield, but they're basically being viewed as the Shield of AEW at this point. So I'm going to go with them winning here. I think it's going to be, like you said, a bloody disaster. You're going to see Moxley, Blade. You're probably going to see Mark or Nick or both just absolutely bloody as well. Kenny Omega's probably going to do a spot where it looks like he breaks his neck, but he's fine. And then, of course, you have Bryan Danielson with all the neck problems. So this is going to be an absolute like, perfect anarchy in the ring. It's going to be a joke. It's going to be a clusterfuck. I'm going to go with the BCC winning this one. I'm going to go with Bryan Danielson, probably pinning one of the Jacksons.
Oh man, there's two matches here that are going to be talked about, maybe for all the wrong reasons, but yeah, what a mess if that ends up being
I'll tell you
more
right
than it
now,
should be.
Aulino, I will be pleasantly surprised if Claudio gets the pinfall.
Oh man,
Like pleasantly surprised. Can you imagine he
Wheeler
pins
Yuta.
Kenny? No.
Oh man. Speaking of other matches here that kind of out of nowhere, it is this. Oh yeah, it's a main event. Never mind. I thought there was a Hardys match. That's probably the pre-show, but yeah, we got Jungle Boy, MJF, Darby Allin, Sammy Guevara. Is this an underwhelming main event, or did they get it right here, staying loyal to some of their young, talented prospects when they signed them?
In the long run, this is a home run for like the development of all of them. But I think as of right now, it's a complete flop. I think I said it like you have Kenny Omega, you have Adam Cole, Jericho still doing his thing. Like you look at the match underneath, like at least three of them can be going for this belt at this point. Bryan Danielson came up short. Claudio, I think you can give him an opportunity. Moxley, of course, he held the belt. He's been the poster boy for a while. I mean, Darby Allin, I think, is a great story. Guevara and MJF having being the whole best friends. You could link that into a great storyline. Jungle Boy, I think, this is again, like I said, with Christian arguably winning the title, this is another reward for how great he did in that feud. You put him in this match. I think it's great for Tony Khan to see that these four guys, I guess, are going to be the future of the company and the business. But as of right now, I don't agree with this. MJF, we all know, is going to have a lengthy run here if they want him to stay in AEW and not jump ship. I got MJF retaining here. And I don't really know, Aulino, honestly, when he's dropping the belt. Is it to any of these three guys? Probably not. If I had to guess, probably Punk or Kenny Omega down the line.
Yeah, I think like just looking at that whole Anarchy in the Arena match, I think you could have put Kenny Omega versus MJF in the main event, kept it like Hangman and the Young Bucks versus like Claudio, Moxley, and Bryan Danielson. So yeah, like the match will be good. Like, don't get me wrong there, but in terms of like a main event, like they don't have too many pay-per-views a year, and this is a selling point for them. What makes them different than WWE? So I think MJF wins, and maybe we see a CM Punk teaser to close the show. Like I don't think he's gonna appear. I think they're saving that because they announced that Collision's gonna be in Chicago that first episode. So already there, I think they're gonna save Punk there. But maybe we see a video similar to All Out last year when MJF had that little teaser. I think we end up pay-per-view with Punk.
Yeah, I think and that would be the perfect definition of playing mind games. He did the same thing last year, and you basically have the roles reversed this year. I'll say the big thing of this main event that could absolutely do wonders is if this match is like 25 minutes and it's fast paced and they all get enough offense in, then this will be a home run of a main event. This will be one of those main events that you look back on and say, wow, did they do it right here with Sammy, Darby, and Jungle Boy? But at the same time, when those main events back in the day, when you had Fatal Fours that were successful, the whole point was it was unpredictable. You really had no idea who was winning. Whereas in this case, you know who's winning here. It's not like Darby Allin or Sammy are going to win here. Yeah, they have teased for quite a while that Darby's going to have the main event success, but he's not. And it's MJF. He's the future, arguably the present of the company. And that's the only downside. But Aulino, I wouldn't be surprised if this might be match of the night.
I know I mentioned this name earlier, Bill Goldberg, coming out and maybe attacking Wardlow, but do you see a scenario where MJF wins. He talks a little bit too much, and then out comes Goldberg. His music hits. He spears him, tells him he's next, and they end the show like that.
I mean, they could, but at the end of the day, you're putting, again, Tony Khan's putting himself in a corner, and I mean, the rest would be history, right? And I understand, the whole marketability behind Goldberg, but Aulino, hear me out on this. If Kevin Owens had as much say as MJF does right now in 2017, he would have left WWE after losing that title. So I think if MJF were to lose to Goldberg down the line, MJF, see you bye. He's going to WWE. You already know the presser that he would have after. I think he would be irate. He'd probably walk out. We have no idea. But Tony Khan, if Goldberg is going to come out here and it be in the main event, you best believe Tony Khan should be telling Goldberg, yeah, MJF is our prized possession. You're not beating him.
That would be jokes if Goldberg just came out, beats him in a squash match, and then MJF just gets up like nothing happened and just walks out. And oh man, I think MJF, we got another presser on our hands after this one. He's gonna be just going off on everyone. The last one, he had a pickle. He's making fun of
That was
Punk with
iconic.
the
That was
cookies.
incredible.
He eats a pickle. He's like, "Oh, you want to have one? Come on, come and get it." Because the guy, the pickle, he says, "Don't get the fuck out of here."
Yeah, I love that.
But like AEW is they're building up for Forbidden Door after this, and it's gonna be in Toronto. So like, do you see them adding a lot of New Japan like surprises here throughout the night, or do you think they'll just keep it all AEW and maybe save it for Dynamite? Because last year they had a few guys pop up on Double or Nothing.
They'll probably have a few guys. I'm not really sure who's scheduled or what further programming they want to go in, but yeah, they're always open to adding someone. I think a big name to look out for here, Aulino, is Sasha Banks. And, she's done her thing, out there. If she can somehow manage to be a part of AEW in some capacity, feuding with the likes of a Hayter or a Tony Storm, then that's a win-win for that division yet again. But again, I have heard rumors that she might go back to WWE if things do clear up. I know Naomi, I think right now is in TNA, and I think she's doing a great job. So, but I do think Mercedes, what she's done, in New Japan, going there, Wrestle Kingdom, she had that 5-star match. It was phenomenal. She's done her thing. If you want to do the Forbidden Door and have her come kick down the door and go up against Tony Storm or Jamie Hayter, that's an option that I think you got to go in. But obviously, Will Ospreay is always a guy that's there. He's always a guy that's going to deliver. And I would love to see Adam Cole versus Will Ospreay. That shit would be electric.
I'm with you on that. They got to do. I even want to see if it's in Toronto. I know we're biased here on that. Like as a Canadian, Kenny Omega versus Okada in Toronto, I think
Oh,
would be pretty good. But I think Will Ospreay, that's one that I know they signed as team members there in Aussie Open to AEW contracts. So maybe Will Ospreay starts looking at that. Like maybe I'll go to AEW, but WWE's out there. Like Jay White just signed with AEW too not long ago. So they do have some possibilities. Is there anybody like not on this card that you're surprised like they didn't really make an effort to put on the pay-per-view?
I'd probably say Paige. I think she's someone that's definitely floundered the last couple months. I mean, I gotta still probably go with. I mean, Sting's probably gonna be there, right? He's with Darby Allin. Um, Not too many names, honestly. I mean, Samoa Joe and Keith Lee are probably two guys that I thought would maybe be on the card. Maybe they're in the Battle Royal, but I do think what are they doing with Swerve?
Oh
Like
man, I know.
like the guy, I thought he would definitely be at least feuding, maybe not for like a major title, but maybe going up against Christian or Wardlow, like something like that. Like have this guy really go on a run with for a singles title because Strickland is a must-see heel, and I think that they're definitely missing out on his potential here. I think you know what, I'll go with him. I think he's the guy that to me I'm surprised the most. And if not him, it's your boy Ricky Starks.
Yeah, I was thinking about him too. Like Ricky Starks, Swerve, like these are two guys that have like really killed it as of late, and I think they're missing. Maybe they could even done them versus the Hardys. That would have made sense. Like, or do Jeff Hardy versus Swerve, have Ricky Starks versus like maybe make it a 5-way and him in the match there. But yeah, those are some guys that should be featuring more because they have some of them. I think Swerve is one of the guys that WWE shouldn't have let go of, and Ricky Starks was a gem that they found there because he was on NWA on their YouTube and picks him off that show, faces Cody. They signed him to a deal, so should be an interesting one there.
I'll
AEW.
I'll say this too. Like I'm looking out now that I look more and more at the Fatal 4-Way. I know they did Ricky Starks versus MJF. Remember for the title. Do you think it would have been better if they went with Ricky Starks instead of Jungle Boy? Because I know Jungle Boy he had a hell of a feud with Christian, and it's deserving here. But do you think if they really think of the future here, you think Jungle Boy is more of the future than Ricky Starks? I don't think so.
Yeah, Jungle Boy can't cut a promo like Ricky Starks. So yeah, I definitely would have put him in there. So like Ricky Starks, just on like everything. I remember it's at that Rampage taping, and they put him on Dark of all times. Like they didn't even put him on the fucking Rampage, and the pop he got, you would think it was like a main event star. It was him. Ethan Page is Canadian, so that was obvious he was going to get that kind of pop. And yeah, Ricky Starks had probably one of the loudest pops of that night, which they had him on AEW Dark. Goes to show you, if you're going to be the booker of the year over there, like Tony Khan, start really living up to that. You got to start booking this better there. Get the guys that get their reactions on the screen.
Yeah.
But anyways, this one will I guess AEW they have something building because it looks like they're pretty much sold out or close to sold out in Wembley
Yeah, we'll see.
in August. Yeah, we'll see about that. Right now the reports show it's positive. All in. Like, is this bad though that they're doing, like, do you think they're gonna still do all out Labor Day like when they usually do it? Or do you think they should just make all in, like build towards that, make that the focal point, and this year don't do an all out, or maybe have it at the end of the year?
I mean, that's the beauty of having a depth roster, right? I think they could still do it, but it depends on again, it's quality over quantity. It depends on which way they want to go. If they want to go with quantity over quality, then yeah, go for it. Do all in and then do all out. But if you want to go for quality, I would probably just do that one at the stadium. You have it like a WrestleMania feel, 4 or 5 hours, load the card, maybe have 12 to 15 matches, and you go from there. I mean, I don't understand why they have to do an all out after having this whole stadium thing. I think it makes no sense. We've seen so many times with WWE. I remember, I think it was 2016. It felt like they had a pay per view every like 2, 3 weeks, and
Yeah.
that doesn't bolster anybody. It forces you to get into programs too quickly and end programs too quickly, and everything kind of feels flat. So I agree with you. I think they should just do the one at the stadium and maybe cool off for a bit. Make that a really big must-see pay-per-view as it should be. It's at a freaking Wembley Stadium. It should be a big deal. But yeah, I agree with you. Just do the one for now and see what happens with that pay-per-view, and then you move forward.
And the final thing I'll ask you here. When the weekend's all said and done, I know NXT is having their little pay-per-view, but I don't think that's going to have that kind of traction online. But what do you think will be the story? Will it be Night of Champions, or do you think people will be talking about Double or Nothing?
I still think it'll be WWE's Night of Champions only because it's in Saudi Arabia and they just get that they get more of that global recognition. They're a little more well known, and I think there's something that's going to happen here, whether it's in the World Heavyweight Title match, you're winning a fresh belt, or something to do with probably the bloodline turning. I think that's going to overpower anything on Double or Nothing. No offense to AEW, but I will say this though: if CM Punk does come back to close the show, or Goldberg comes back, that's going to be a huge talking point. But Aulino, we've seen for all of 2023, the bloodline trumps all. They're going to be the talking point regardless by the end of this weekend.
I agree. I think WWE has something here. Like every month, I think since February, since actually January Royal Rumble, they've been in a different location. Elimination Chamber was in Montreal, Backlash Puerto Rico. Now they're going to Saudi Arabia for Night of Champions. They're going to the UK for Money in the Bank, and then back to another stadium there for SummerSlam. So I think that's a model that they should actually keep going because it keeps the crowd into it. Like we've seen how like some of these fans that they get a little spoiled sometimes where not the best kind of reaction. So if you go to a different international place each month, makes it a big fight field type of atmosphere. And AEW, I think they're gonna have that in when they go to the UK, but if Goldberg, I'll end it with this. If Goldberg is going to be appearing in AEW, keep him the fuck away from doors. No headbutts to the door. We saw how incoherent he was when he tried to cut a promo. You just see him bleeding down. Keep him away from doors. Pad the door or something because he's going to headbutt something. Just prepare them to their production team. Put something on the door so when he drives his head on something, he can cut a promo when he's in the ring.
Oh my god, that kills me. Goldberg. Oh.
On that note, Chris, this was a fun one. We previewed Night of Champions and Double or Nothing. Next episode, we'll be talking about the NBA Finals and Stanley Cup Finals, which will be confirmed. We got Denver in the NBA. We're waiting on their opponent. And in the NHL, it looks like Vegas is 1-1 away. Maybe they'll get it, but Florida awaits them. So right now, sports in Miami and the Sunrise region are popping. And in
They're
Toronto,
spoiled.
yeah, and in Toronto, they're right in the fucking bottom. So
Yeah.
that was episode 217. We'll see you all next week.